Hey, folks, welcome to the show. I'm Joe, and we've got a legit player here today, and absolutely Queensboro. Okay, we haven't anybody from Queens, New York. This is a brand new one. About 10,000 students, 109. That's the number that I want us to just double click on. 109 countries are represented within about 78 languages. Okay, 40% first gen college students, 38% are coming from households earning under 30,000. This is real life, folks. And this is the number one ranked community college in the state of New York, unarguably. And it's led by this woman who, when in high school in Long Island, had no idea that a 4 year college was even on the radar. But then somebody who became president at one of the most diverse institutions in the United States. Christine Mangino, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. It's my pleasure to be here.
So I just want to 109 countries. I can't even imagine just the privilege of walking into the world every single day. What is that like to be you?
Yeah. We recently hung welcome flags in our nine most commonly spoken languages. And we had this whole event and we asked students, everybody had a sticker and they had to write down how many languages they spoke themselves. And, I was embarrassingly with one, the only person with one. Some of our students, three, four, five different languages, right? They're absolutely amazing.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, the more that I travel, the more I realize how kind of isolated, shallow, it just I also one
Yeah,
kind of dabble a little bit in another one, but it's legit one.
yeah.
The other thing is, I think most college presidents that I bump into spent their careers building towards becoming a college president. I don't see that in your journey. You went into education on purpose to impact students' lives, and I can't imagine how much you've leveraged that today. But you didn't. This wasn't part of the journey.
No, not at all. My first degree, associate's degree, is in hotel restaurant management because it looked interesting, so I circled it on the application. But while I was sitting in classes, realized like, oh, maybe teaching is really the place to be. And eventually, when I went back to school to get my doctorate, I searched for a program that didn't focus on administration and supervision because I did not want to be a supervisor or a leader. I wanted to just be the best teacher I could be. Obviously, now I wish I had some of those, classes in my back pocket, but yeah, I never ever wanted leadership, but realized that the only way to keep making change was to keep moving up. And every time I moved up, I'm like, nope, this is it because I want to stay close to the
Yeah.
faculty and the students. But then you see, like, oh, wait, I could really make change if I go that next level.
My guess, I profile, probably a better word is study leaders for a living. And not enough leaders were kind of drug up the org chart. My guess is you're one of them. You had very influential people in your life that said, "Hey, we need some help." And it wasn't this I'm jobseeking.com every other year to figure out, okay, how do I climb? That wasn't your journey.
Not at all. It was always, and for 17 years, I was at Ostos Community College. And it was only because, like, oh, the next position above me is now open. And they would ask me, hey, do you want to be an interim and try it out? And then you realize, like, ooh, I actually really enjoy that. It was
Yeah.
never about, it's not about the title at all, right? But it was never about moving up. It was always about how do I just do the work.
And people know when they're in the presence of that kind of a leader. There's enough coasters out there, right? There are enough, I think, climbers also that are very aspirational, but maybe not that moral imperative for why they want to do the work. What the world needs more than anything right now are really the builders, those that are I'm not going anywhere. I'm here, and this is the breadth of work, and it's going to take some time to really occlude those gaps and move family trees forward. And yeah, so that's what I see, and why I wanted to have you on the show here today. And you almost missed college. I mean, it wasn't like your parents were saying, "Hey, knock knock, come on,
No,
fill out the applications."
not at all. My dad had stopped out of school in the ninth grade. My mother, has a high school degree. And I was just because of like the students around me in high school, I'm like, wait, everybody's applying to college. I think this is something I'm supposed to do, and didn't even know what that meant. So I applied to NYU and Nassau, and NYU said, haha, thanks, come back in like 2 years. Now I want to go to them and say, hey, what did you miss?
Your loss.
Yeah.
Like I tell every door person that comes to my door trying to sell something, I say no, and they always tell me your loss. I love that line. Your
Yeah,
loss.
yeah.
Your loss.
But and I wouldn't have known how to pay for it, right? Like
Yeah,
that would have been such a disaster anyway. So I
right.
mean, it worked out the way it was supposed to work out. And I graduated from NASA with a 4.0 GPA and didn't even realize at the time what that meant, right? And not even for years later. Now, when I see our students in the valedictorian and salutatorian, I'm like, oh, that was something really special. And I had no clue.
And it wasn't on your radar. How does that make you a more effective president today?
Because I get the student experience, right? I know all of the bumps and bruises I had through my time at Nassau and transferring to a senior college and losing half your credits and not knowing the importance of talking to people and trying to do it on your own just with the catalog and you make a lot of mistakes.
So I know that you've got this equity dashboard. And anytime you talk about equity, it always raises some flags of tension. Maybe not concern, but just internal tension of do we want to be that honest with our community? And yes, if community members want to go dig and scratch, they can find the information, but you just kind of hang it out there. What's the heart behind that? What's the posture behind that?
It is the truth, right? That is who we are, and we have to change it. It's not okay, right? We know, right, statistically across the country, every student that comes into a community college, 82% of them want to go on for a bachelor's degree. You know, this doesn't happen, right? We lose 30% in the first semester. So we have to be accountable to that because they worked really hard to get their financial aid and figure out the application and figure out how to register for classes. And they showed up that first day. The fact that they didn't make it is because we put even more obstacles in their way. So
Yeah.
how do we provide those supports? So it's important that we see that. And we have on all of our computers is an enrollment dashboard so that during the enrollment cycle, we see it going up. But then the first day of class, we also see how many we're losing each day,
So
right?
it's fluid.
Weeks.
It's
Oh,
real
yeah,
time.
every day. Yeah. So not everybody was thrilled at the beginning, right? But it's important. You can minimize it, but you cannot close it out. And every morning it'll pop back up so that you can see where we are because it's all of our responsibility to make sure that the students make it.
That those structural pieces, actually
Yeah.
putting the data out in front of people
Mhm.
impacts the system, and the system those systems actually impact your culture. When you
Yeah.
think about really the cultural work that you're
Oh,
doing, it's very straight away. We're not ashamed of the data that we have here. We're owning it. We're honest about it, and we're showing up with our work clothes on every single day,
yeah.
not
Yeah.
just to salute it, but to actually move those
Yeah.
things forward.
Yeah, and to celebrate the wins, right?
Yes.
Because it takes years, right, to make it happen. So you have to celebrate the wins each semester. And I can't wait until census day every semester to get what's the next persistent rate or retention rate. Um, but then it's also important to keep looking and seeing who are we missing. So we have been focused. Our 5-year strategic plan was on closing equity gaps for our Black and Hispanic male students because we were not serving them well. And now we're really taking a hard look at our part-time students because they're not,
Wow.
how we usually measure students, but that's who our students are. And how do we make sure that we're giving them the supports they need? And with equity, right? People are concerned like, oh, why are they getting special treatment? But all students are supported by
Mhm,
the process, right?
mhm.
Because what you learn supporting the students with the most need are also helping, other students who were succeeding anyway, but now they're succeeding, at even greater lengths.
What are some of the wins? As you look back to last semester, those gaps that look, almost insurmountable perhaps last year, where are you progressing?
We're closing equity gaps. So gaps that were 18 and 19 percentage points are now at 2 or 3. We've increased Black males retention from it was 20 percentage points in the last 5 years. It was from 58.8 to now 78.8. Like we are really making a difference in the lives of students and keeping them engaged. And people are working hard on this campus to make that happen and appreciating it.
How's your enrollment?
Could always be better.
Right
um,
answer.
yeah, so we're almost at 11,000 students right now, but we were at 16,000, you know,
Okay.
a few years before the pandemic. It started to go down a little bit, but our retention is what is keeping us increasing, right? So we need to figure out how to get back students that stopped out over the last several years to tell them. And I keep telling them we have to call them to let them know, like, hey, we figured it out. We're doing much better. Come back and trust, like it wasn't you, it was us.
And when you say us, my guess is it's everybody's job,
Everybody,
right?
absolutely everybody.
It's
Yeah,
not just student affairs job to go and hustle and wrangle.
no,
No, it's everybody showing up with that
yeah,
focus, that heartbeat, that
yeah,
mindset, all
yeah.
of it.
Yeah, our bursar office, right? When I first got here, it was, glass windows like you used to see in the post office, right? And students would have to shout their personal information through the glass window. And, you tell students you owe money, go pay your bill. They're not going to go because you're going to ask them for money and they're going to have to embarrassingly tell you I don't have it. So they'll just stay away and stop out. So now windows are gone, doors open, everybody has a private cubicle, and it's about how can we help you pay your bill so that at least they go in to have that conversation. And we've created what we call a promise scholarship because we found 85% of our students, if they owed between 500 and $1,000, they stopped out. Right? Like any one of us would hand a student $500 to keep them in school and not just change their lives, change their families' lives. So we have now totally reversed that. 85% of students who have gotten a promise scholarship, they get it once, have stayed in school because now they've been working with an advisor, a bursar person to figure out how do we make sure that you're not in this position again going forward, right? And a
How
lot of time it's that they didn't fill out or submit the right
mm,
documentation, right? Or, they get, yeah,
yeah, it's eliminating that friction. If
yeah,
you can have your community members waking up knowing how they can just enter onto your campus without a whole lot of silliness,
yeah,
we'll
right,
catch you up once you're here,
yeah,
but it
right,
shouldn't be that friction, right,
right.
to get you here, and you've proven yourself on other campuses. I've seen that you've nearly tripled the enrollment at other campuses, so you've got a methodology, you've got a success system that you know is working. Um, my guess is much of that system is already in full rollout within your existing system, and the first 3 years probably created a bit of tension because people are like, "This is different than the way that we've done things before." How are you building a less resistant culture on campus to be more widely accepting new ways of doing different things?
Yeah. So I would say the resistance, maybe the first year, just talking about equity and people really truly understanding it. But now and even after that, like it's all been transparent, right? Like we shared the budget down to every dollar so people know where the money was going during budget crisis, letting them know like we're not going to harm students, right? So this is where we have to take the money from and people understanding that. Sharing the data, talking about what we're doing, keeping everybody informed in 15 million different ways because people hear it different ways
Right.
and working really, really closely with the governance leaders, right? So always being in touch with them to let them know what's going on, what are they hearing, how do I support that, and open to the community, right? So I have an open door policy. In about an hour from now, we're having the birthday party for all the February birthdays. They all got an invite to my office for cupcakes
Of
and
course.
coffee.
Of
But
course.
it's a way so that they have that communication and could ask me all those questions, right? Because if they don't know what's going on, people make stories up. So how do we help them know what's really going on and that they're part of it and that we're listening to them on what needs to happen because they're the experts in their area. I can't come in and say, do this. It's more about what do you need and how do I support that to make it happen?
So, how do you foster that love of learning that was just like, boom, the gifts were open back in Nassau Community College? How are you fostering that for yourself personally, selfishly, in
Yeah.
this role as president?
I do a book club. twice a semester. So yesterday we just read the book Culpability, which is about the ethics. It's a novel, but it was about the ethics of AI, self-driving car. So anybody can sign up. We give them the book, they come and we have great conversation. So I've always focused on, understanding our students' cultures, understanding equity, understanding higher ed. So this one was like, ooh, AI, this is a good one.
Mm,
But that's the way I get it, or how do I get into a classroom with students, right? I would love to teach, but there's no way to do that in a way that makes sense, right? Just based on scheduling.
got it. Got it. Okay, let's go into the future and then we're going to wrap it up with the little lightning round. Um, 2030. Can you see that far?
Yeah, no,
Okay.
I will still be here.
So you'll have nearly a decade under your belt at that time, 2030. What are some of the things that you're just going to point to right now that you will see happening, right?
Yeah,
Celebrations in 2030 that aren't
yeah,
happening now, but guaranteed,
yeah.
with all probability, should be happening in 2030 that will definitely get the attention of
We
your community.
we will have some of the highest 3-year graduation rates for sure by then. And our next part of the whole equation, right, is helping make sure that students, if they're transferring, that it's a smoother process, but that they're also getting jobs that are helping them and their families succeed, and not, whether or not there's a lot of data out there right now in community colleges about like whether it's worth it if you could do this job with a high school diploma, but making sure that they are getting sustaining wages to really change their lives and their families' lives.
That's the high impact. Yes, we want to increase volume, but yes, also we want to deepen
Yeah.
impact.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
good.
And getting national recognition for it so that the people on campus that have, put in the blood, sweat, and tears, right, are recognized for the work that they've done and that they've really made a difference.
My guess is you're not a leader that's looking to just hang another banner over a light pole. You really are looking more at your students to say, that's the recognition that we want to see, not some prize, not some award. That's why I say this absolutely, definitely legit. So I got to make sure that you're not, I mean, you're doing superhuman things, but you're also quite human, right? So here's a lightning round coming at you, lightning round time. So is there a quote that you live by?
I don't know about a specific quote. I think it really just is about always doing the right thing, right? Morally, right? That's my guidepost.
That does not surprise me. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
Very early morning. I get up at 5 o'clock every morning, start on my Peloton, soak in my bathtub, and then come to work. And I like taking all the stress out before I get here.
Unpaid advertisement, your favorite Peloton instructor?
There's a few, but Ali Love is a good one.
Mm,
Yeah.
can't argue with you. Alex, not bad either.
Yeah,
Not bad
yeah.
e okay. One decision, Christine, that you'd make 10 times over again.
Taking this job, I keep telling people, like, I feel like this is the right place for me, and I am the right leader for this place and where they are right now, and that match is magical for the work that we're doing.
No accidents.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Very well placed. So, Girl Scout cookie, do you have a favorite?
tag along.
Tag along it is. Can't argue there at all. If you weren't a college president, where would we find you? What would you be doing?
There's so many jobs out there that you're always like, "Ooh, that sounds interesting. Ooh, this sounds like fun." I think doing education policy in a government, right, in order to make changes at that level then. Or a national organization, right? But then I'm always like, oh, then there's all these foundations, right? Like, how do I then do it at a different level? But I would still be committed to this work because I really love what
Folks, she's not going anywhere. We're just plain hypothetical. So, what would NASA Community College Christine think of college president Christine today?
Absolutely shocked. Yeah, there was just no way that this was on my radar. It was just about how do I break into the New York City public school system to become a elementary school teacher. I wasn't seeing beyond that.
Salute. One word for Queensborough's future.
Hopeful,
Mm,
exciting. I
love
give
it.
you two.
Love it. How about, let's have some fun with AI. Who doesn't have fun with AI? You just finished a book on AI. AI versus your best advisor in your advising program. Who's going to keep your students enrolled?
It's definitely going to be the advisor, right? AI is going to give you a whole lot of fluff without much meaning behind it, but our advisor is going to understand who the student is at a more deeper level and be able to advise them in the right way.
Isn't that the truth? And we got to keep that all in perspective, don't we? Okay, best career advice. Last question that you've ever received.
My mentor in my doctoral program, when I was applying for two faculty positions, I was a finalist at Ostos Community College in CUNY and for an early childhood degree program. And then I was a finalist in a master's degree program for New York City in a private college. And I couldn't decide which one to do. And she told me to go with CUNY because I was going to go far, and CUNY would give me the ability to do that. And the other college is no longer in existence.
Hmm, that's not luck. No, that's just good old-fashioned discretion
Yeah,
and wise decision making.
yeah, and the importance of mentors, right? I think that's important for our students too.
Well, that wraps up the lightning round. I want to ask you if you have any words of advice for. I talked about the profile of the leader, and your profile isn't one that I oftentimes see in the office. So maybe another leader who maybe has aspirations for the presidency, but also has this thing stuck in their head that says, "No, I that's just not probably not where I belong." Just
Yeah.
whatever you'd want to call that. What encouragement would you give that person?
Talk to people, right? So I did the Presidential
Mm,
Fellowship, which is for future presidents, and you didn't have to, know that for sure I wanted to do it. There were people in my cohort that did the program and realized, like, "Ooh, this really isn't for me." And then I just had a doctoral student who is interested in becoming a community college president down the road. I invited her to come and shadow me for 2 days to see what the job's really like. Um, and she came back and she emailed me and she's like, maybe I want to go now shadow a provost to see maybe that's the right job,
yeah,
right? But I think it's making those connections with people, right, in order to talk about and figure out what it really looks like and to have the confidence, right? And especially for women, I think that's, there's a lot of research out there that says that women won't apply for the position unless they think they are overqualified.
right, right. And you're definitely modeling that way. I want to thank you.
Well,
Thank you
thank
for your
you.
time
Thank
here
you.
today. I think what you've taught us is, it's not just enough to believe that your students can make it. It's building the infrastructure to ensure that they do,
Yeah.
and that's really what differentiates the good ones from the ones worth following. So, thank you for being a builder. Thanks for keeping your dukes up for your mission. I'm sure it's there's not a day that goes by where it's not hard work. So, we appreciate you definitely. If our people want to learn more about your institution, how do they find that?
Yeah, they can Google Queensborough Community College or it's qcc.cuny.edu.
Very good, folks. Check them out. Worth following. That's
Yeah.
the show. Stay healthy, folks. Peace.